and welcome back to another episode of Shout the Apple Podcast. And it's another depressing episode because I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the Mets and Yankees have both lost another series. At least for now, the Mets are still technically playing another game because they decided to do a 3 game series on the weekend and then 1 game on Monday. But the Yankees, their series is done. They lost. So, what is going on with the Yankees right now, Ryan?
Well, you're correct. They did lose the series. It's, I mean, there's not one thing to point at and say that's the issue. It's kind of the same thing that we've talked about the last few episodes. The starting rotation, which has been their strength, is not giving them length or even giving the offense a chance. And if they do, the offense doesn't perform at all. Sometimes putting up one, two, no runs. It's been pretty bad over the last few weeks. This is probably one of the roughest stretches of Yankees baseball I've ever watched, which is interesting after the way the season started. But um, I guess I'll just recap the games a little bit. There's sure no one really wants to
Yeah.
hear about it, but
Yeah, so we could talk about the game they won first. I
yeah,
mean, at
that would
first,
be
if
Friday night game one.
at first it started up with Garrett Cole on the mound. And he had a K to begin the game, so that was a huge strikeout to start the game. And then after that, but then right after that, in the top of the first, he gave up a home run to Cody Clemens. Cody Clemens, doesn't that name sound familiar, Ryan?
That's the son of Roger Clemens. Yeah, I think he was on. Wasn't he on the Phillies for a while?
He was on the Phils for a while, yeah.
Yeah, so he did hit a home run in the first inning, put the Yankees down 1-0. But in the last episode, I talked about Trent Grisham and Ryan McMahon returning and how hopefully that could be a little bit of a spark for the team, add some more consistency, better defense. That was true for one game. Grisham hit a home run in his first at bat back, so that was his ninth of the year, tied it at 1-1. But Ben Rice hit a two-run homer in the third. They went up 3-1. That was his 24th. Then Victor Caratini hit an RBI single in the fourth for the Twins, 3-2. The Yankees added two more in the seventh. Jose Caballero RBI single in the Grisham sac fly. So Grisham had two RBI, which was, like I said, a little bit of a spark. You have your leadoff guy back, you have your center fielder back, and then you have the defense at third from McMahon. They kind of didn't have too many lefties recently with all the injuries, so adding two lefties back into the lineup helps a little bit. But that was it. They won 5-2, and no more winning. Game two, July 4th, um, the Yankees decided, for whatever reason, it was a great idea to start a guy who played for Great Britain in the World Baseball Classic on the 4th of July. I mean, that was a mistake right there, but there was a reason. It was because Carlos Rodon was added to the injured list before the series started. 15 days, 15-day injured list. It's going to be more than that. Left elbow inflammation. So that's another rough blow to the struggling Yankees right now. But in the spot start, it was Brendan Beck. Um, he went 3 innings and 2/3, gave up 5 earned runs, and he gave up 3 of the 6 home runs the Twins hit on Saturday. The Yankees
And
offense scored four, not too much. Dominguez hit a home run. Max Schumann hit a home run. Cody Bellinger hit an RBI double. Uh, I mean,
yeah, man, vibes were just not great, bro. It was a hot day outside. It was just
yeah,
hot, and then no one was in the stadium because it was so hot, and just so many runs given up in such a short span. Just not a good vibe.
yeah. That's basically it. Camilo Doval came in to pitch in the eighth inning. He gave up 4 runs. They were all unearned because Jazz committed an error on the first hitter. But I mean, we'll talk about Doval a little bit more, I guess. So the final of that game was 11-4, and then we get to Game Three on Sunday. They lost 6-1. Ryan Weathers started. He went 4 innings, 4 earned runs, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. The Yankees' one solo individual run came in the ninth inning on an RBI double play by Jason Dominguez. So
Wow.
that about sums up the series. An RBI double play was the only run they scored, but Doval did
So
pitch again. Oh yeah, what was that?
what happened? What happened with if you had to talk about a recurring theme, what was the recurring theme?
no, I mean, yeah, it's not great pitching and not great hitting. You need at least one of those things to happen to have a chance in ball games, and they're not having either of those happen right now. Like Ryan Weathers went 4 innings, 4 runs. It's not going to help your team win a ball game. And the offense only scoring 1 run in 9 innings, and that being on an RBI double play also is not going to help your team win ball games. So it's that, and also the defense has just not been tight. We've talked about the stats, the numbers, and the insane lines in the last few episodes of how many errors they've committed recently and how many unearned runs the pitching has given up. But yeah, it's basically that. But what I was going to say about Camilo Doval was he gave up 2 more runs in this game. He pitched the 6th inning. Those were also all unearned because of an error committed by Anthony Volpe. So 6 unearned runs for Doval in 2 games, 2 innings. He is borderline unpitchable at this point. I don't know what's gotten into this guy. He has just not been the same pitcher he's been throughout his career since he came to the Yankees. We talked about that in the last episode as well. At this point, I think that they got to just honestly send him down to AAA if they can, see what's going on, maybe a phantom injured list. I don't know exactly how many options he has, so I'm not sure what the technical term would be for it. But I think some time in AAA or just away from the team, try and reset. I mean, it's happened before. The Giants did it with him last year before they traded him. So something's got to be done because he has the stuff. We've seen it. He's just not putting it together. He's honestly just Yankees Devin Williams at this point, but thankfully he's not our closer, so it's not that bad. But it is brutal every time he comes into the game to try and watch. But do you have any opinions on Camilo Doval or the Yankees in general?
Yeah, I mean, Yankees will be okay.
Yeah, they will be okay. They just need people to come back. They need more consistency. But
I think they'll be okay.
the
You know
the
what?
bullpen. Yeah, what was that?
Yankees have they have a bunch of pitchers. They got a lot of hitters. They just have a list of guys that can step up for the team. So I think this is just because it's such a long season. There's so many teams that go through stretches. I mean, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, one of their strengths that we've talked about a lot has been the depth in this organization. But with so many injuries right now, you're seeing a lot of these depth pieces get chances, and a lot of these guys are not taking advantage of them. They're not performing well. So yeah, you just need just better performances. You need, honestly, at this point, just somebody on the offense to just get hot and try and help them win some games because no one's really doing that right now. Whether it's Grisham, Bellinger, Rice, anybody someone has to just step up, and the rotation has to get back into form. That'll help them win ball games for now until the bigger pieces like Judge, Stanton, Rodon, Fried come back. But yeah, they are now 1-9 in their last 10 against the Red Sox, the Tigers, and the Twins. All these teams are under 500. I'm going to be honest; these are just not good ball teams they're losing to. It's, I mean, just bad right now. They are, there's been some quotes, I believe, from Judge, from Boone, talking about just a lack of focus. I mean, if there was a time to get focused and start winning some baseball games, or at least trying to win baseball games and playing better ball on the field, it's right now.
It's
Because
now.
starting tonight, they play a 4-game series at Tropicana Field in Tampa. They're down 4 in AL East, so if somehow a miracle happens and they pull off a sweep, they'll be back and tied in first place. I don't think that's going to
Yeah,
happen. It would be amazing. Don't think it's going to happen. But tonight it's Cam Schlittler versus Griffin Jacks. Big game for Cam. But
yeah. What's good about that is because there's a lot of room for error. Like even with the slump, they're still only 4 games out because they've been so good throughout most of this year. So you gotta
for
look at
sure,
it like
this is like the Yankees C or even D team playing right now. Um, I can't confidently say anymore, to be honest, that the Yankees are going to win the AL East. I think they will definitely make the playoffs, but I can't confidently say they're going to win the East anymore because if they get swept in the series, they're down 8 games. The team has not shown anything in their last 10 games to make us believe that they can win or split the series. So, if worse happens, they get swept, they're down 8 in the AL East, and the Yankees C or D team may have dug too big of a hole for the A team to dig out of when they get back. So we'll see what happens. It's rough to give opinions going into series or out of series when these episodes are, we try and do them after every series. So it's tough to, try and talk about where the standings will be, but they can either be tied back in first or they can be down 8. So I guess we'll have to just see what happens at that point. But like I said, tonight, Schlittler versus Griffin Jacks, big game to start the series. The key to tonight's game, I would say, is the offense has to do something. Someone has to step up. But the biggest importance is Cam Schlittler going out and having a great start.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. We need that.
But the Yankees are not the only team struggling. The Mets are playing the Braves. Right now, they're down 2-1 in the series. They play the 4th game tonight. So, would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Would I guess I have to, because
Yeah, you probably don't like to, but it's a journey that we've both agreed to go on, so we have to do it.
Yeah. So before we get into that, I want to talk about the All-Star game. So that's
Yes.
coming up. And basically I saw that Ben Rice is not a starter. He's a reserve. What'd you think of that? That Ben Rice is not a starter on the All-Star team.
I was going to actually mention that. I forgot. And as I was introducing the Mets, I was going to say, let's do it at the end. But now's a good time. Yeah, I mean, Ben Rice has been in a rough slump recently. But I think it's, first of all, the fans voted. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. got the start. He himself has admitted on multiple occasions he is not having a good season. So the fact that the fan vote has to be changed in some capacity. He himself backed out of the game. So I guess, yeah.
How much does the fan votes actually affect the game? Because I remember one time they were trying to get Martin Maldonado to be an All-Star, and they voted him to be an All-Star, even though he didn't have the stats to be one. And he got the votes, but they didn't put him in the All-Star game.
I don't remember that. I don't remember what happened with that, but I mean, I think that's kind of a similar situation with Vlad right now. I mean, of course, Vlad is a much bigger name. He usually has great seasons. Probably he has so many All-Stars. He's won the All-Star MVP at some point, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he himself backed out of the game. So you'd assume the runner-up would be the guy going against him in the fan vote for the start in Phase 2, which would have been Ben Rice. But no, it was Nick Kurtz. Ben Rice is still an All-Star. He has gone through a slump recently. I'm sure the numbers right up against Kurtz probably hurt him a little bit. So, I mean, I don't know. I think he should have started, but it's not my decision. But Yankees do have 4 All-Stars. Aaron Judge was voted as a starter. Cam Schlittler is going to be on the pitching staff, and Cody Bellinger and Ben Rice are both going to be reserves. So
that's 4 All-Stars.
Mm-hmm. I actually don't know how many. I know the Mets have at least one because every team gets one. I'm assuming that's Juan Soto. Is there anybody else?
So for the first time in his career, Juan Soto will be an All-Star for the New York Mets. And, he probably should have been an All-Star last year, if we're being honest. But I'll take it this year. It's some kind of positivity in all this negativity that we have with the Mets this year. So I'll look at it like that.
I'll say Juan Soto's numbers this year do deserve to be an All-Star. He definitely picked it up recently since he's coming off the injured list. It definitely helped him because his numbers weren't that great when the All-Star voting started. But he's definitely picked it up. I would say the numbers deserve it, but I also hate to break the bad news, but someone had to be an All-Star for the Mets. Every team gets one.
He was probably the most obvious choice.
Yeah, but he was voted in, so it wasn't a give me pick. So that's good. So you are right. That is something positive.
Yeah, so we can get right into that with the Mets. So they played in Atlanta, and Atlanta is a very uh good ballpark. Like I actually really like Truist Park. I went over to Truist Park in Atlanta like last year. It was pretty good, and it had some really good food. I forget what I had in specific, but it was really good. So I had like this big bucket. But anyways, Atlanta was great. But when the Mets play there, it never goes well.
Mm.
So let's get right into it. So you had Grant Holmes on the mound, and it was Grant Holmes versus Christian Scott. He gave up a two-run homer. Michael Harris. Then he gave up a home run to Ozzy Albies after the Mets scored two. Then Juan Soto hit a home run, tied the game. But after that, it was Mets never got the lead back. And they're
Mm.
losing, and they lost. Kodai Senga came out the bullpen, and he gave up a home run because he's Kodai Senga.
Yeah, he was. I forgot if we talked about that or not, but he was demoted to the bullpen. He's not a starter as of now.
Yeah, because he sucks. And then game two, we had game two, and you would think the Mets would play a little bit better on game two, right? We had Shaw Mania on the mound, and everyone thought Shaw Mania is so good, right? Shaw Mania is just so good. Chris Sale was on the mound though. Yep, that Chris Sale, and guess who Shaw Mania gave a home run? Gave up a home run to. He gave up a home run to Eli White. You know who Eli White
Mm.
is?
I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about him besides that he plays for the Braves.
Yep, and you know what? It just was not Shaw Mania's day. Fourth inning, he already gave up 6 runs. Uh, Mauricio Dubon hit a home run. It just was not Sean Manaya's day. And even with Mark Vientos hitting a home run, he looked like such an idiot because there was a pitch right down the middle, and he challenged it, and the ball went right down the middle. And just all the slander. The very few people that still are watching the Mets are slandering Mark Vientos, and it makes me sad because just 2 years ago, we were talking about Mark Vientos, how he could be like the next big bat, the next big weapon in the Mets lineup for the future. But 2 years later, he's regressed. And now he's challenging pitches down the middle.
Yeah, we did talk about Vientos a little bit. I saw somewhere his splits against. I think his splits against lefties are like kind of decent. I'll have to. We'll have to look that up and maybe talk about him in a future episode. But um, yeah, it's just not. It's not working out. It's not looking too good. Kind of reminds me of Austin Wells a little bit. He's had some good moments, some good solid seasons with the Yankees, but he's also not
Mark
having a
Vientos
great year.
is so much better, though. I mean, he remember that home run he hit in 2024 against the Phillies? It was in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Like, remember that?
yeah. I mean, that was a fun series for Mets fans, but
But yeah,
yeah,
like it just was like it was just like wow, I miss that Mark Vientos. And then the rest of the game, like nothing happened pretty much the rest of the game besides the Braves winning. And like I'm not just like I don't want to talk about the Braves winning. And the Braves they're probably gonna crash on the playoffs like they always do. Like the Dodgers are probably just gonna win, like and then this whole season was just pointless. So it's okay because at least the teams I really really don't like are not gonna win. And then we can talk about that last game.
wait, which team do you dislike more, the Phillies or the Braves?
That's a great question on this for a podcast, Ryan.
Should we save that for another episode, or
Nah, we could answer that right now.
okay?
I would say I hate the Braves more because the Braves beat us more. Like the
Yeah, that's fair.
Mets, like the Phillies, they're closer, and I think they have a worse fan base, but we also beat them, so it's like whatever. The
Yeah,
Braves always beat us, so
yeah. I mean, you eliminated the Phillies in the playoffs 2 years ago, so that
we'll
probably took a
always
lot
have
of
that. We'll always have that. We'll always have that
yeah.
day. We'll always have that season. That was a great time, as a Met fan.
hmm
But
Well,
unfortunately, those days are long gone.
the
So
Mets did win one game against the
which
Braves.
they sure did, and they almost choked that one game. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Well, Devin Williams almost choked that one game, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, with Noel McClain on the mound, you still had AJ Ewing hit a solo homer. You had Lindor hit a RBI single to tie the game. You got Juan Soto hit a RBI 2-run single. Noel McClain looked decent, I guess. But I mean, the Mets, they even had Tyrone Taylor hit a home run. Tyrone Taylor, remember Tyrone Taylor? Like,
is that his second of the year?
yeah, man, it's just it's crazy how, and they were up 10-3 and they almost lost the game. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, that is pretty interesting. Um, yeah, Devin Williams gave up a few runs in the ninth. Well, it was who started the ninth inning?
Westcar Brazaban, and then he made a horrible,
hmm
horrible, horrible play,
Yeah, you have a grand slam,
and then he
and
threw the ball, and it got another run in.
yeah. So then Devin Williams came in, coming for the save. He did get the save, but he also gave a few runs himself. So I believe it's back-to-back doubles too. So even when the Mets win, it's a little ugly. But
And I think the Mets are definitely should definitely start getting into the process of trading away people. Um, I think a big asset at this point is Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver has been so good for the Mets as a reliever right now, and he's been one of the best relievers, and he's going to be a hot reliever on the trade market. So
yeah, he's on a nice scoreless inning streak. I forgot the number, but I did see that earlier. So yeah, I mean, I believe he signed to the Mets for 2 years, but I do think the Mets should take that, the idea of he has an extra year after this and use that to get more value back when they trade him, rather than keeping him with the mindset of, well, we have Luke Weaver for another year, so let's not trade him.
no, we should get rid of him because he has more value. An extra year adds so much more value to
Yeah,
trade
I agree.
assets. So you can just get higher prospects. So I think that should be the move if you're going to trade Luke Weaver, which I think they will.
I would love to see the Yankees be interested in that. Not sure if that's a trade that would be made, just because the Mets would be getting a package back, but in
I
their
I,
mind,
I
would
wouldn't
they?
I wouldn't be opposed to the trade because like Weaver doesn't really have to move anywhere. He
Yeah,
goes to a place that he's familiar with, that he literally just left. Like I think you can't. I don't think it would really hurt Luke Weaver going back
yeah.
to.
We can talk a lot about possible trades for both teams. We can talk a lot about even that trade. If Luke Weaver was to come back to the Yankees, what would the package back look like? Why it would make sense. So we can do a whole lot of talk about that in the upcoming weeks, up to the deadline. So the episodes will definitely be more entertaining and less depressing. But tonight,
Yeah.
the Mets play the fourth game in Atlanta. Want to preview that a little bit because I don't think many people care, to be honest. But they're looking for a
Yeah,
split in Atlanta. I mean, that would be kind of big in a rough year.
yeah. I think like me and like most people, I think a lot of people are kind of Met fans are kind of just done. I really haven't seen any Mets discourse on my timeline in a while. That's when you know it's dead. And we're gonna have 5 inning Freddie Peralta on the mound against Ronaldo Sue Lopez. 4.1, 3.31 ERA versus Freddie Peralta's 4.81 ERA. Because Freddie Peralta, the ace of the New York Mets, will be taking on the Atlanta Braves today. We'll see what happens, and then tomorrow you go back home. You're playing the Royals, and you're going against former New York Met Seth Lugo. So that should be cool.
Yeah. So the next time we'll talk on the podcast is probably going to be Thursday or Friday after the Yankees wrap up their 4 game set in Tampa. and the Mets finished their 3-game series at home. So for now, I guess that'll probably do it. Probably won't
Yeah,
break
I
during the
mean, is there
episode,
anything
but
else you want to talk about when it comes to like the MLB All-Star game? It's gonna be close. It's actually gonna be in Philly, so
yeah,
that could be something interesting.
yeah. I mean, not too much. We already talked about our team's all stars. I guess as the game gets closer, we can maybe I don't know, maybe we can do an episode about the game and the home run derby. That could be interesting. But
Yeah, we could talk about what the All-Star game was and what the All-Star game is now. Because like, if you think about it, the MLB All-Star game is like I used to really like watching the MLB All-Star game. I used to like watching like the intro and seeing all these people, and it was just so cool. Now it's like it's whatever.
yeah, I still like watching the All Star game. It's interesting to see all these players on the same team, the American League versus the National League. The American League had a huge winning streak. I believe it was like 7 straight years they won up until a few years ago. The National League finally won one, but home run derby is more exciting. But what's interesting is we only have. Wait, do we have any names announced for the home run derby? I'm not even sure.
Nah, I really haven't heard any.
So I guess that's something we can talk about too once the names are getting announced. Um, Ben Rice said he'd be interested in participating in it. I guess we'll see if he does. Maybe some Mets will. I don't know who. Maybe Soto. But um, yeah. So we can talk about that stuff when it comes up. The All Star game used to mean more as well. It used to depict who got home field advantage in the World Series, the American League team or the National League team. That doesn't matter anymore. Nothing really matters about the All Star game. It's kind of just for fun at this point. There's nothing up for the winning team. So I guess we can do more All Star and Home Run Derby talk as more information comes out about those two events. But for now, I just want to. I don't think I can stress enough the importance of this series for the Yankees. Like I said before, if they sweep this 4-game series, which is unlikely, but if they do, they will be tied with the Rays back in first place for the East. If they get swept, which is significantly more likely, they will be down 8 games in the AL East, which is a huge ladder to climb, even when all these injured players come back.
Yeah,
So
it's very important not to get swept because of the how far it could really set you back. Like the difference between winning, getting swept, and being tied. I mean, there's such a huge difference. But I mean, realistically, it's probably going to be a sweep. But a sweep wouldn't even be that great because you're not really gaining. Or sorry, a split because you're not really gaining any ground with the split.
yeah, but I mean, at least you're not losing any ground. So 4 games is much more easy to come back from than 8. But tonight's probably the biggest game. Um, looking at the series because you have Cam Schlittler on the mound. Have to hope that he has a great start, bounces back from his last start against the Tigers. The Yankees are running out a lineup of Trent Grisham, Ben Rice, Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger, Jason Dominguez, Jazz Chisholm Jr., who was removed from yesterday's game with an injury, but he's back in there, so it's nothing crazy. And then Jose Caballero, Ryan McMahon, and Austin Wells rounded up. So see what happens. Hopefully a W. The Mets are finishing a 4-game series. Hopefully they can split, I guess, for the Mets fans. So I guess that'll do it. There's not. We tried to talk about whatever we could, but
Yeah,
there's really
we
not much
try.
to talk about.
But you know what? We're getting to that point of the season where teams are gonna start pushing for playoff spots. We're gonna get to that rush of the season. So it's coming up
Yeah,
soon.
and all the excitement surrounding obviously the All Star break and the trade deadline. So, like I said in the last episode and multiple times today, hopefully episodes get more exciting, even if the teams don't start winning. But hopefully they do start winning. Um, so I guess that'll do it for episode 20. I can't believe we made it to
Yeah,
episode
dude,
20.
20 episodes. Our 20th episode.
It's probably closer to 25, but we've lost a lot. So there's been a few
Yeah,
that we just
it was
didn't
a
get to
work in
upload.
progress at the beginning, but because now that we figured out how to live stream, it's very easy. We won't really lose the footage by live streaming it and keeping the archive. So, but now we've gone through the stretch of almost the first half of the season, the beginning of the season. You know, we're working through it.
Yeah, so that'll do it. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, if you did listen, probably was really hard to listen, but
It's been hard for me because of
it's been a hard talk. Yeah, so
it's been hard talks. It really has. Like it's hard. I try. I try.
hopefully both teams start playing better. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go Mets one day. One day.